Let's get it. It's a Red Friday on 580 Sports Talk. Welcome in. Great to have you with us on 580 WIBW FM 104.9, 580WIBW.com, and on our video stream on YouTube. 580 Sports Talk is the channel. On Facebook, WIBW News is the page to watch us. And it is a Red Friday, and it is a Football Friday. But you know what else it might be? It might be a playoff clinching Friday for the Kansas City Royals. Thank you to the Miami Marlins. After 13 innings of the worst baseball game I've ever seen in my life, the Miami Marlins defeated the Minnesota Twins last night. Cue my computer. Not yet. This is an advertisement. Don't want to play the. Now cue my computer. Give it to me. Give it to me, Scott Stapp. Give it to me, Creed guy.
Let's play ball. It's
yeah. Take it down a little bit. The Miami Marlins coming through for the Royals last night. This is the important part. Yeah. And they did make us proud. The Marlins winners 8-6 in 13 innings over the Twins, meaning the magic number for the Royals to make the postseason is Buddy Biancalana, or if you'd rather, MJ Melendez, or if you want to be real easy about it, 1. The magic number is 1. A win tonight, and it's a blue October for the first time since 2015. A Twins loss at any point this weekend, and it's a blue October for the first time since 2015. Tonight could be the night.
Did a former Royal try to help out his former team last night?
The son of a former Royal did.
I was talking about Anthony Veneziano.
No, he stunk. He was not good. He was part of the relief corps blew. Yes, he was the part of the relief corps that blew the 4-0 lead in the first place. But no, son of ex-Royal Jeff Conine, Griffin Conine, delivering a big hit in that 3-run 13th for the Fish. I watched the whole thing. Looks like some others did too in our YouTube live chat. Trevor said it was an emotional roller coaster for him. Christopher said so bad, but so beautiful. That is a fact.
While we're talking Marlins baseball, favorite
turn on your microphone.
My microphone is on. If there's a problem, it's not with me. Can you hear me now?
That's Brendan Dworzynski.
I think his
in the background.
I think his microphone might be kapoots.
I'm certain that is. Can you hear me now?
No, I think your microphone's kapoots.
All right. We're going to go ahead and check that out. But that's Brendan Dworzynski. That's Spencer Dupuis. I'm Dan Lucero. We are hanging with you for the next 2.5 hours. We're giving way at 5:30 to the Royals Baseball Network on what could be a clincher Friday evening game in Atlanta as the Royals take on the Braves. The weather looks like it's decent in that part of greater Atlanta.
Yeah, it does. Can you hear me now?
No.
In studio?
Absolutely not. No.
All right, we're going to switch microphones.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know, man. So, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you now.
All right. Finally, we got a working microphone.
I think we had a failure of microphone.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. We'll fire the intern responsible for that. I was going to say.
Sorry, Trenton.
Talking about. Man, taking strays. While we're talking about the Royals, favorite Royal and Marlin.
Favorite Royal and Marlin, Mark Redmond.
I'm going to go with Paul Bacco.
Spencer, an entry?
I have no entry.
Least favorite, Ross Glode, easily.
Ross Glode, kind of bad.
If you remember Ross Glode, you are sick. The Royals have multiple.
Also an ex-Rocky, Ross Glode.
Former White Sox. Man, he played for every crap team.
Come on, man.
The Royals have multiple former Marlins on their team right now. Derrick Hampson, Yuli Gurriel.
Yeah?
He played for them
Last year.
Last year.
I had almost forgotten that. It was an awesome sight to see the Twins melt down, bunt into a double play at one point in extra innings. It was a terrible baseball game. The Marlins looked every bit of the 59 and 100 team that they are, but in the end, they lowered that Royals magic number down to just 1. And you know what? Don't mess around with it. Go on and do it expeditiously and do it yourselves so you can celebrate on the field instead of in the clubhouse. The Royals have a chance to do just that tonight. A 6:20 first pitch. So we'll give way for pregame coverage on the Royals Baseball Network at 5:30 for the Royals this afternoon. We'll do our best with the technical difficulties we're having.
That's fixed now.
Okay, we got that taken care of now. So hopefully you can all hear all three of us. We appreciate you joining us. We want to hear from you on the Top City Metal Supply text line, 785-272-9429. Get at us in the YouTube comments as well if you're watching live on YouTube. Appreciate you doing that. You can interact with us and other listeners to the show in the live comments of the live chat. You can also send us messages on Facebook. Again, that page is WIBW News. We'll get to some baseball later on. Again, this could be a special night for the Royals, one way or another. A win or a Twins loss in the final 3 games, and the Royals are going to the playoffs. And what a sentence. What a sentence. What a thing to consider, given where this season began, where we left off with the 2023 Royals.
Mm-hmm. What everyone's predictions were.
A remade team in the offseason, a remade bullpen on the fly. A team that is suffering through, and this is no joke, I just saw this from Mike Petriello on Twitter. The Royals right now are having the worst offensive month by OPS, which is on base plus slug. The worst offensive month of any team in the last 2 seasons. The Royals as a team have a 593 OPS this month.
So that includes the 2023 Kansas City Royals.
Yes, it does. It includes this year's White Sox. It includes last year's A's and this year's Marlins and some really wretched teams. No one is having a worst month offensively. It has not happened in 2023, 2024. The worst ongoing month is that of the Kansas City Royals. And yet, they stand on the precipice of postseason qualification. Brady Singer and Max Fried is the pitching matchup tonight. But, as I mentioned,
don't love that after Brady's last time out.
No. Hopefully he can bounce back tonight after he had a dud in his last home start of the season.
Is it a Blue Friday?
It is. I think it can be a Blue Friday.
I saw that thrown around on Twitter last night.
It could be a Blue Friday. It is also typically, much more typically around this time of year, a Red Friday. And we will talk plenty of Kansas City Chiefs football. The Chiefs and the Chargers on Sunday from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. A 3:25 kick, 2 o'clock pregame coverage over on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. You'll be hearing the Chiefs on WIBW FM, 94.5 FM on Sunday, so we can bring you the season finale, the regular season finale for the Royals. The Chiefs and the Chargers. The Chiefs are 7-point favorites. We'll get into that one and break it down. We'll also talk all about it with our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. He joins us at the bottom of this hour.
One final Royals thought. Spencer, a little pop quiz for you. Do you know what has happened each of the last 3 times the Royals have made the playoffs?
I don't know.
They have gone to the World Series.
This is true.
1985, 2014, 2015. Please ignore the 29 years in the middle of those first 2 years.
Yeah, I didn't even put that together. I just assumed that they were there, a little bit more than that.
You would assume that, wouldn't you?
Every team gets at least to the playoffs.
That was fun. No, it took a long time to get back to the postseason.
So that's why they draw whenever you see something happen. The last time this happened was whatever year.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. It's always drawn to that conclusion.
Yeah. So okay. It's historically speaking.
Listen,
we're gonna have Blue November this year.
Once is an accident, twice is a trend. What does that make 3 times, right?
Cruel fate.
Not so cruel if you're a Royals fan. I'll tell you that right now.
That's true.
So, we'll get more into Royals baseball. We got lots of Chiefs to talk about, especially this first hour. We got some college football to get to as well. KU and K-State going into their home openers in Big 12 play tomorrow. K-State against Oklahoma State, 11 a.m. kickoff, 9 o'clock pregame coverage, 9 a.m. You'll hear that one right here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. We'll also talk about KU's home opener at Arrowhead Stadium. Yes, they're going to play at Arrowhead Stadium. I know there was some consternation on Twitter yesterday. Thought maybe they were
going to play the whole time. It just wasn't official.
They have to move the game to ODAC or Haskell Stadium.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, people were freaking out when Sharon Moore coached a game at Michigan without a contract. How could this happen? Are they not going to keep him? But it was like, no, it's just a bunch of bureaucratic stuff.
Red tape.
This is the same thing.
Yeah.
It's fine. They're going to be fine.
Yeah. So at Arrowhead Stadium, 2:30 kickoff tomorrow, KU and TCU. We'll break those games down, and in the 4 o'clock hour, we'll bring you our KU player profile for the week. Earlier this week, Brendan and I had a chance to speak with the senior tight end, the Pride of Plainville, Applebee's enthusiast, Jared Casey. And we'll bring you that conversation at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Plus, we'll have our 580 Sports Talk headlines. We'll do a round of On Second Thought, a little bit of Change My Mind. Our Prairie Band Sportsbook 580 Sports Talk Picks Contest, entering, what would this be, week number 6, I suppose, because we did the first week. This is week 6 of college football. No, week 5. It is week 5.
Week 5, yeah.
Week 5 of college football and week 4 of the NFL. So we enter week number 5 of our Prairie Band Sportsbook 580 Sports Talk Picks Contest.
Will we allow Spencer to just pick a game?
For the
Survivor? So that he can say he got a straight-up pick correct?
Wait, did I not win this week?
No, because we're entering week 4. We got last week's wrong because you and I were both on the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they got a house.
The Survivor pool we do not speak of. We
don't speak of it anymore.
We did promise to let Spencer leave the court on a miss. So we'll see if we get around to letting him make a Survivor pick. Your text to 785-272-9429 and your comments in the YouTube live chat coming up here on 580 Sports Talk. Let's get into Chiefs Chargers, though, at the top. We do it every Red Friday on the show. We start with our keys to the contest. We each have 2 of them. I'll start with my first one for the Chiefs against this Charger team that, again, maybe without Justin Herbert, maybe without Joey Bosa, maybe without Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. We don't have their official practice report from today, participation report. We have the Chiefs. We know Mike Dana is out. That was a bit of a surprise. A calf injury flared up yesterday. He was a DNP. And today, even though he was out there with the team, Andy Reid made it official in his remarks that he will not play. He's the only Chief with a designation for Sunday. He will not go. But the Chargers have much more of an injury concern than the Chiefs do. And they should, at some point during the show today, release their final injury report. And we'll pass that along to you and let you know exactly what that looks like. But regardless, not a word. Regardless.
Thank you.
Yes. Regardless of who plays and who doesn't, my keys are going to be the same. And the first key for me is the Chiefs have to win on first down. That has been something that they have done to great effect so far this year. We talked a lot this week about their success rate. Part of being successful is setting yourself up to convert third downs and second downs into more first downs. So first down success has been vital for the Chiefs. And they have been happy to run the ball on 2 high safety looks because they've run it effectively between the tackles and stayed on schedule offensively. And what doing that will do is keep the entire playbook open, because you can do a lot more on 2nd and 4 and 3rd and 2 than you can do on 2nd and 8 or 3rd and 7. So staying on schedule offensively is the thing that is eventually, I think, going to help unlock the Chiefs offense and get it going and get it to be the explosive offense that we have seen in the past. If they continue to do that, I think they'll be in good shape against this beat up Charger defense.
All right. My first key for the game on Sunday: take the ball away. I have seen
that ball away.
Take that ball away. Woo. Did your school do claps?
Yes.
Ours did a little woo. I think the cheerleaders lifted their skirts a little bit. I rode the bench for a lot of sports, so I got really intimately familiar with the cheers. Take the ball away. I have seen in my life, in recent years, a far less talented team, quarterbacked by Taylor Heineke, upset a much better, heavily favored team. I saw it just 2 seasons ago, in fact. It's not very fun to watch. I don't think Taylor Heineke is good, but he can make enough plays that you can win a game with him at quarterback.
Moxie.
He does. He's like pro Trace McSorley. And I know he's also in the NFL, but like I'm talking his Penn State days. Do not give him a chance to do that stuff. Do not give him a chance to make those crazy, wacky plays that keep you in a game. Attack the ball when you get after the quarterback. Go after the ball. Try for the strip sack. Pick off some of the floaters he throws, and there are a lot of them. He does not have an especially strong arm. Do something to take the ball away in this game. There will be opportunities. He is not especially safe with the ball, so make him pay.
And extra possessions have been a big deal for the Chiefs in all these close wins that they've had. The interception of Cousins last week leading to some points, and, of course, the fumble recovery for a touchdown that was decisive in the Cincinnati game. Spencer, what's your first key?
My first key is get after whoever the quarterback is. If it's Herbert, get him out of the ball game. I mean,
Bounty gate?
No.
Question mark?
No, I mean, just like beat him up. He's already beat up. So Chris Jones can find a way to get there, or they make some very creative Spagnuolo blitz and get in there. You know, the loss of Mike Dana is not going to help on that defensive line front at all, what I wanting them to do. But they'll find a way to get there.
Yeah, that is my second key as well, pressuring the quarterback. You know, according to the numbers, the Chiefs actually haven't really been proficient rushing the passer with only 4. They've been much more proficient getting home with blitz pressure, and they haven't blitzed as frequently. You know, when we think about Steve Spagnuolo, we think about the mad scientist, we think about the blitz packages, but they've held a lot of that back early in the season. I think some of that is when you think about the quarterbacks that they faced, you don't want to blitz Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow's a tough guy to blitz, and Kirk Cousins, why would you blitz him? He's a statue. So, you know, they've picked their spots with the blitzing. And I think this is another week where if indeed the Chargers are down to 3rd and 4th string tackles on offense, this should not be a week where they have to bring an extra rusher, bring 5 or 6 in pass rush. I think they should be able to win with 4 and heat up either Herbert or Heineke, no matter who it is, under center for the Chargers. That's my second key.
All right, Spencer, I'm going to need some audio for my second key. And I'm actually going to outsource my second key. I would like to reach out to 580 Sports Talk offensive insider and also Georgia Tech head football coach Brent Key. He has my second key to the game.
Scrimmage. Are you kidding me? Run the ball.
That's it. Run the ball. I have told you guys multiple weeks now. I know Andy Reid is only going to run so often. That is fine. Percentage of plays, I don't think we're going to see more runs than normal unless the game is, 31-point deficit in the fourth quarter. You're just trying to run out the clock. But it is about when do you run the ball, against what looks, on what downs, and what distances, what part of the field. That is the significant part of the run game for the Chiefs that they're going to have to pay attention to. We have given you the stat back-to-back weeks. The Chiefs have been damn near unstoppable when they have run the ball on 1st and 2nd down. And I get as angry as anybody when teams run. It's always out of the gun, too. It's always a 2nd and 10 run out of the gun. You only get 3 yards out of it. It drives me crazy. Matt LaFleur does it all the time in Green Bay. A lot of the Shanahan guys do it. Drives me nuts on 2nd and long. But that being said, the Chiefs' series conversion rate, when you go from a 1st down to another 1st down in the same sequence, it is up over 85% the last 2 weeks when they run on 1st and 2nd down. So run on 1st and 2nd down. Wear down that defense. Wear down a pass rush and a defense that historically gets worn down very easily. So keep it on the ground. Don't rely on them. I know we're going to rely on 15 if you're the Chiefs, but you know what I mean. Let those guys make plays for you. Set up more manageable 2nds and 3rds and even 4th downs, and this offense will be just fine.
They're running the ball really well against light boxes. The interior line is playing great, and Carson Steele and Samaje Perine were running hard last week against Atlanta. If that continues, they should be able to keep up that success rate and keep moving the ball in those steady chunks down the field on the ground. All right, quickly, your second key, Spencer.
Yes, this is not really a key. I mean, it's not. It comes off kind of different. Travis could go off. Historically speaking, he loves to play the Chargers. You got to try to get him the ball early and often, especially with Derwin James suspended for this game. 4 of his last 5 games against the Chargers, he has gone over 100 yards receiving. 2 of those, he's gone over 179 yards receiving.
Yeah, he loves to torment the Chargers. That's a fact.
He has over 1,200 yards in 18 career games against them.
That's a full season's worth of games if you think about it.
Yeah.
It was a dang good year.
Yeah.
And especially with no Derwin James, there should be some opportunities for 87. Maybe this is the week that he produces, and everybody can quit asking Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
And himself. He spoke today about it.
So those are our keys to the game. We'll take a short break. We'll come back, give you our Big Chief picks and our predictions for Sunday afternoon's Chiefs-Chargers affair. Matt Derrick going to join us at the bottom of this hour. We got college football to talk about. We got Royals on a potential clinch day to talk about. And we've only got until 5:30 to do it. So hang with us. It's a jam-packed show from the Kansas Drive to Zero studio today on 580 Sports Talk. .330 on 580 Sports Talk. Matt Derrick at ChiefsDigest.com going to join us here in just a little bit. All right, it is time to name our big Chiefs for Sunday. Our prediction, our pick to click, if you will, for the contest.
Makes me think of Hawk Harrelson.
Well, yeah, that's it. Anytime you say pick to click, that's a tribute to old Hawk. I'm going with Nick Bolton. we talked last week about in the wake of the Atlanta game that was a good game for him, just in terms of what he offers and what he was called upon to do against that Atlanta running game. We know, especially if Justin Herbert is limited or doesn't play, Jim Harbaugh is going to try and run the football. He's going to line up 2-3 tight ends, and he's going to run the football. And Nick Bolton is going to be really vital, filling gaps, shooting gaps, making tackles at the line, making sure run plays don't turn into splash plays. I think this is another game where he's got an opportunity to lead the team in tackles, help bring up some third down stops, help put the Chargers in second and long. I think this is a good game for Nick Bolton, and I think he's going to thrive.
I'm going to go with George Karlaftis. I'm staying on the defensive side of the ball. No Mike Dana, as Spencer mentioned to us a little bit earlier on. So you're going to need a little bit more out of your starting group, maybe a little more out of Felix this week as well. I think Karlaftis is going to feast, though, against bad tackles. Not to say that he's only good against bad tackles, but a guy with that kind of motor and that kind of strength, that functional play strength, not a great matchup for a backup tackle on the edge. So I think Karlaftis is going to have a big game. I really like this matchup for him overall.
Spencer.
So the last time I chose this guy was the playoffs. My first actual big Chief pick, I'm pretty sure.
That was your first week here.
And you guys were kind of giving me crap for it. He went off. I think this is Travis Kelce's get right game. I think he's going to go off.
I hope it is.
He likes to go off against the Chargers.
I'm sick of the narrative. I'm sick of is he hanging out with Taylor Swift too much? Is he now a childless cat lady?
Does he not like football?
Is he too busy in Hollywood?
Yeah, it's just the worst.
Shut up.
The worst discourse. According to our friends just to the north at the Prairie Band Sportsbook at Prairie Band Casino Resort in Mayetta, the Kansas City Chiefs are 7-point favorites. They are minus 375 on the money line, and the total, the over-under, is 40. I do not think the Chiefs are going to cover, because why would I pick the Chiefs to win by a touchdown or more, given their recent run of form? Yes, they've won 9 consecutive football games dating back to the end of last regular season. But if you were listening to my conversation with Mitch Holtis yesterday, you heard him say that the point differential in those 9 wins is 54. And that includes a 19-point win over the Dolphins in the wild card round last year. 54 points is the margin of victory combined in these 9 wins. It's the smallest combined margin of victory in any 9-game winning streak in the history of the NFL. Shout out to Mitch for one of the best nuggets of the night in the history of Mitch's Nuggets of the Night. That's an average of 6 points per game that the Chiefs are winning by. Why should I think they can win by more than 6 points? I'll believe they can blow a team out when I see it. I'll go the Chiefs 26-20.
My counterpoint to that: how many times do the Chiefs play a team that is missing its 3 best offensive players all at the same time?
That's a good point.
Who are arguably...
And their other one's going to be...
Also their 2 best defensive players. Because we have now seen, just across the wire, Joey Bosa not practicing today for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Him could play.
So no James, not 100% Bosa if he plays at all.
But
no
not 100% Herbert.
No Rashawn Slater. Justin Herbert is not going to be close to 100% if he plays. I am going to pick the Chiefs to win by multiple scores, because without them, you know what that roster has? Jim Harbaugh on the sideline.
That's not
Khalil
bad.
No, it's not bad. I think if Jim Harbaugh brought a bunch of college freshmen out there to play, though, they wouldn't win.
Fair.
He's a great coach, but that doesn't mean he's going to win every situation. And I like the Chiefs by plenty. I'm right on the total. I've got 26-14 Chiefs.
Spencer.
Yes, I'm on the Chiefs. Multiple scores as well. Everything that Brendan said, that was going to be my point here. 35-17.
Ooh, big number for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think it's a get right for Kelce. Multiple touchdowns.
Good comment from our guy Paul in the YouTube live chat. A good way to put it would be, he says, the Chiefs need to for once kick a team while they're down. Don't let Heineke get confident. Don't encourage a banged-up defense with poor execution on offense. This is an opportunity, no question about it, for the Chiefs to have one of those. Too early to call it a statement game, and especially against a dramatically weakened opponent. But I think they do need to go out and put a beating on somebody.
Yeah,
and this is the week to do it.
One real quick note about the opponents. Did you know that if it is indeed Taylor Heineke who starts in this game, he would be just the 5th starting quarterback for the Chargers since 2006. Rivers started every game from 2006 through 2019, which is incredible. And then it's been mostly Justin Herbert with 5 total games started between Tyrod Taylor and Easton Stick since then. They have had actually remarkable consistency at quarterback. For a team that's never won anything, that's kind of incredible.
Yeah. Remarkable.
So, just a fun note. I should also note, while I mentioned Phillip Rivers, that's Phillip with 1 L Rivers.
Yes.
Shout out to Mitch.
Phillip with 1 L Rivers. So we're all on the Chiefs. I'm not taking them to cover, but Brendan and Spencer are. Spencer and I are both over on the total. Brendan is under. We'll take a break. Come back with Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com after this on 580 Sports Talk. We are going to Kansas City to speak with Matt Derrick, Chiefs beat reporter for ChiefsDigest.com and our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt joins us every Friday at this time on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. And Matt, we'll start with a look back quickly at the Sunday night game in Atlanta. What was the most important development from that game, you think, for the Chiefs moving forward?
Oh, good question. I mean, I think that the most really important development over the last couple of games has been, I think the defense is continuing to gel and get a little bit better each week. Obviously, they've been really good against the run game consistently. I think that's important, especially because I don't think it's something that they're really targeting. I think it's just in the DNA of this team to be playing to run really well. I mean, they're trying to stop the pass, and I think they're getting better at that each week. But this is, I think, once again, rounding up to be a really, really good defense for this team.
Wanye Morris got the start at left tackle and played essentially the entirety of the game at left tackle. And it looks like that's how the Chiefs are going to move forward, at least in the short term. Did Morris show you enough on Sunday night to feel any better about the left tackle position, or does this kind of feel like something that might turn into an Achilles heel this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was different, and I don't think that different necessarily means better or worse. Wanye had some good moments. I think there was a couple of rough plays too. I don't think it necessarily solved anything. I don't think they looked at it and said, okay, yeah, left tackle's fixed now. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, Wanye can handle it for now until Kingsley's ready. I mean, was it a step forward? Perhaps, but then I'm not sure that the Chiefs were facing a defensive line that was as tough as it was the couple of games that Kingsley faced. So I think Wanye's performance is probably still waiting to be judged. I don't know if we're going to get, a verdict this week either, especially if Joey Bosa is out. That's going to be a good dodge for Wanye and the Chiefs to miss out on. But it was different. I mean, there were maybe a different set of problems. I think Kingsley's better on the ground than maybe Wanye is. Wanye may be a better pass protector right now. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. But I don't think you can really look at it and think to yourself that the Chiefs have really solved anything. I mean, I think that's still a situation to be monitored. And I'm still convinced that when the Chiefs make another change, that it's going to be permanent. We'll see just how long they wait. But I think right now their goal is what they want to do is they want to get Kingsley's mind right and his technique right and his execution right. And when they do, they're going to go back to him. And I think that will be it. I mean, I think he'll be the left tackle of the future once that's done.
We have talked this week about the Chiefs offense and what it has been and what it notably hasn't been. It's been efficient. The success rate, one of the best in the NFL, especially on the ground, but it has not been explosive. They're in the bottom 2 in the league of percentage of plays that are explosive plays. And that's certainly not the Chiefs football we grew accustomed to seeing in the early years of the Patrick Mahomes era. But I think a lot of it is about taking what the defense gives you. And if teams are going to sit too high safety, Andy Reid is happy to run the ball or throw the ball horizontally and let the speedy wide receivers on the perimeter make up some yards. But is this formula for the Chiefs, what we've seen the first 3 games, where it's efficient, but it's not real explosive, is this something sustainable, or are the Chiefs going to have to unlock some explosives somewhere down the road?
Yeah, that's a really good question to me in the way you kind of present it there, because, and let's face it, I mean, I think we're always going to grade this Chiefs offense rather on a massive curve. We're going to be grading it against itself. We're not necessarily grading it against anybody else in the league. I mean, if we did that, we'd just be saying, okay, well, this is the number 2 scoring offense in the AFC. I think they're top 5, top 7 in the NFL in a lot of offensive categories. So, hey, everything's fine. It's just that, this team's trying to three-peat, and it's what are their own goals and what do they believe that they can be. And right now, I mean, this offense through 3 games, the numbers, especially like you look at yards per play, it's a lot like last year's offense. And last year's offense was just take what's there, move down the field, not very explosive. So are we repeating that same formula? I'm not sure about that, because I still think that this offense has more playmakers. What I think that they're doing is this is an offense that's still feeling itself out. I mean, I do think that this offense was built for having Hollywood Brown in it, and they're adjusting to that, kind of trying to figure out who they are maybe without Hollywood on the field. I think that obviously, even though I think that there's some evidence that maybe Travis has been open and maybe the Chiefs and Mahomes have just missed him, not having Travis a huge part of the production is a challenge, because just once he gets the ball in the hands, just like Rashee Rice, I mean, those guys are playmakers. They're going to get you extra yards. They're going to make plays for you. And I think even, Kelsey yards and plays, I think are even more meaningful, because they just seem to always break a team's back. And when a team is holding Travis Kelsey in place, I think that gives defenses some motivation. So, I mean, I do think that if the Chiefs can just, make a couple of plays here and there, I mean, if they could just break out of their little slump as far as making big plays downfield and getting Kelsey involved, I think that could open the floodgates. I think they just need to be able to make some plays and make teams fear them in some ways. But right now, I don't see that. I don't think the teams are afraid of the Chiefs running the football. I think they're going to continue to do all of these zone looks and two high safeties, do everything they can to just take away the threat of Xavier Worthy beating you downfield. They're going to double and triple team Travis and basically just dare Mahomes and Rashee Rice to beat them. And so far, it's working. I mean, they're winning games that way, but it's not necessarily the way that you're going to score 30 points every week. They're going to have some other guys make plays eventually if they want to go where they want to go.
Matt Derrick is our guest. He covers the Kansas City Chiefs for ChiefsDigest.com. He's our Chiefs insider. Joins us every Friday at this time here on the program to talk all things Super Bowl champs. Matt, speaking of Travis Kelce, I get all of my sports opinions from guys who professionally yell at you on FS1. So I'm curious, which of Travis Kelce's offseason activities do you think is the biggest reason why he is now fat and bad at football?
That's absolutely brilliant. That is the best question and take I have heard, not just this week, but maybe in years. I salute you, sir.
Lofty praise.
Man, that is.
But on a serious note, I've been saying to the guys over the last couple of weeks, like, I was not super surprised that he did not break out against the Falcons because, A, he's 36. And while that is not old for us commoners, that is very old for a tight end who has played as much football as Travis Kelce has played in his career, as many snaps as he has played. Not surprised maybe he's getting off to slower starts this season. He also has gone up against teams that either A, if you're the Bengals, just know what to do to defend the Chiefs better than anyone, or they've gone up against a good group of safeties. The Ravens have the best safety in the league, in my opinion, in Kyle Hamilton. The safeties that Atlanta has are tremendous as well. The safety play, especially without Derwin James for the Chargers, not good. This feels like it could be the prime week for Kelce too, as Spencer put it earlier on the show, get right. Do you feel like matchup-wise, this might be the time for him to get back to the Kelce we're more used to?
Oh, I think you're right. I mean, this is a tremendous opportunity matchup-wise because without Derwin James, yeah, you look at this Chargers defense and you're like, who's going to slow him down? Who's going to stop him? I mean, you can double and triple team him all you want, but just think over the years just how much Travis Kelce has beaten up this team. And the only thing that makes me hesitant about it is that you got the coaching change. You got a different team now. You got a different philosophy. So I got to think, and this applies to probably the Raiders as well, because I feel like that the Chargers and the Raiders, more than anyone, they should know Travis Kelce better than anybody and should know that the game plan has to be, don't let Travis Kelce beat you. But I have seen Kelce get open against those two teams more than anybody else. And I don't know, maybe Harbaugh coming in to just point out and say, hey guys, yeah, Travis is a good player. You might want to, double and triple team him. Maybe that'll change things, but this has historically obviously been a great matchup. So yeah, I do think that there's the potential even if it's just a mental aspect, that the Chiefs know that this is a team that Travis has success against. Maybe that alone can be enough to help him get going. But I do think this could be a breakout game for Travis, especially if he just gets going early.
While we're on the topic, have you watched his new show?
I have not. I did. I watched a few minutes of the open because I did see it was on, and I flipped over, but I didn't have time to watch the whole thing. So that is in my schedule for the weekend.
Well, Matt, no spoilers, but just like the start of the Chiefs season, Travis Kelce isn't featured in the first two episodes of that show either.
That's what I've heard. So I guess I just have to set myself up for the action for the weeks to come.
We're joined by our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick, here on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. And Matt, Andy Reid earlier announced that Mike Dana is going to be out. How much are they going to miss him this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, well, especially if there's no opportunities there to really beat up on a I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
Depleted. There you go. That's the one.
Everything. I mean, if there's a D word to be involved with the Chargers defense right now, it's that. I mean, they are just so beaten up on that offensive line. I mean, they could be without three starters on that offensive line, so especially the tackles. But the good side there is that, hey, I mean, they are so depleted that it shouldn't take blitzing throughout the entire game to get pressure on the quarterback. And I don't know if the Chargers are serious about starting Justin Herbert. They shouldn't be serious. I mean, I don't even know how you could even just pretend. I mean, the guy's got a high ankle sprain. Give him a couple of weeks to rest. Why even waste his time being limited in practice? I mean, this just seems insane to put him out there without the 2 starting tackles potentially. But I'm really intrigued because I'm hoping that, if with that really out, that, hey, Cam Thomas and Felix Anudike-Uzomah are both going to get some opportunities, because I think, one, you want to see Felix in a bigger role to see what he can do. He's had a couple of really good moments through the first 3 games. The fumble last week, moment for him to build on. I think you'd love to just see what he could do in a larger role, and Thomas, just getting him out there. I think you'd like to see what your new toy can do, and I don't know how many snaps he's going to get. I expect he'll be active. And maybe it won't be a ton of work, but I'm intrigued to see more from both those guys.
Final one for me. Got about a minute left here. The reunion tour continues for the Chiefs. Last week, bringing back Kareem Hunt. This week, they bring back tight end Jody Fortson. You posted about it yesterday on Twitter. What's this reunion tour about?
The Chiefs are certainly one of those teams that they like a guy, even if he leaves, they'd love to have him back at some point. So I think that's a big part of it. But obviously, too, I mean, Jody knows the offense. There's a role for him if he's healthy. He's been a red zone weapon for this team. So I think they'd love to try and tap into that still. And if they could get him on the field, especially in the red zone, they've had some struggles. So let's see what he's got. But he's also always been a good locker room guy. So I think that's part of it too. If there's a player that they can help them out, but is also a guy that's going to help them out chemistry wise, they're always interested in trying it again.
All right, 1-word answer, Matt. Yes or no? Is this the week the Chiefs finally blow someone out?
No. Just because I'm not gonna believe it until I see it.
I'm right there with you, Matt. I can't predict it until I see it, but we will see what happens on Sunday as the Chiefs take on the Chargers, and Matt Derrick will write all about it at ChiefsDigest.com. He's our Chiefs insider, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. Matt, enjoy the game. We'll talk next week.
Sounds great, guys. Take care, my friend.
That is Matt Derrick. We'll take a quick break, come back, wrap up this 3 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk from the Kansas Drive to Zero studio. All right, we got enough time for a quick round of Change My Mind here on 580 Sports Talk. Change my mind. Thursday Night Football should be abolished.
Yes. There's just no point in it, right?
These
the
games
players
all stink.
players aren't
stink.
ready.
So,
Players getting hurt.
I would argue the broken microphone. What a piece of crap.
I got you though. I got you.
Yeah, Spence, you're helping me out. You're keeping me afloat here. I understand. I mean, this is a reaction we have multiple times this season. I think last night wasn't even about the quality of play. Like, that officiating crew should be suspended next week without pay.
Al Michaels was in rare form last night.
You know how much we love Cooper Beebe on the show.
Yes. Played great.
Yes, he did play great. He also had, was it Cooper at the play? I'm trying to think of who it was. No, it wasn't Cooper. Whatever it was, a Giant got called for a face mask when he was the one having his face mask grabbed.
Yes, saw that.
There was another play Cooper probably should have been flagged for. Like, what are you doing? Those officials should be in jail, but I'll give Thursday night one more week.
We've got our 580 Sports Talk Picks Contest brought to you by Prairie Band Sportsbook. We've got our What Is Wrong With You September semifinals, and we'll talk to Jared Casey next hour on 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk, hour number 2 on this Football Friday, this Red Friday, this Royals can clinch a playoff berth Friday. It's a lot going on, and we're glad you're with us to talk all about it here on 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and on our video stream. You can catch us on Facebook, WIBW News, or you can watch us on YouTube. 580 Sports Talk is the channel. You can watch us on your desktop, your mobile device, or your phone, your Roku or Fire Stick. Put us up on your big screen TV. And if you've done that, send us a picture. We would love to see if anybody's throwing us up on the big screen.
I have many pictures of that.
Yeah, I've done it like my house, like run back episodes just to see what it looks like. But
yeah. No, I have many pictures of that for my girlfriend.
Oh, well, there you go.
When she didn't live here?
Sure.
Yeah.
A great way to keep track of the show, for sure. So we appreciate however you are keeping track of the show today here on 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Brendan Dworzinski, Spencer Dupuis, the power trio with you until 5:30 today when we'll break away for Royals baseball.
If you put us up on the big screen, it's a much different experience now than when we first started doing video for the show.
That's a
when
fact.
We had the webcams right on our cameras.
Nostril cam.
Yeah.
Probably very blurry too.
That was tremendous. The picture was okay.
Yeah, it wasn't super blurry. It was just like right in, like you could like see if our tonsils were in decent shape.
And we had it set up with Dan on the other side of the glass and with me here. We would set up the cameras perfectly so that you could see our pores up close and personal in 4K. But it was like we were looking right at each other. But also because it was so zoomed in, it looked like we were right on top of each other, talking back and forth.
Yeah, we've
evolved a little bit.
We have. We've done a lot of trial and error over the years, and hopefully gotten a better video product for those of you who do like to stream us. If you are streaming us, visit us in the YouTube live comments. Interact with us and with other listeners to the program as we go along. Vance says that the power trio on a 70-inch TV is slightly terrifying in the YouTube live chat. I can A, believe it, and B, attest to it, because that's how big one of my basement TVs is. And I've thrown it up there just out of morbid curiosity to see exactly what it looks like. But do appreciate those of you tuning in that way. You can also interact with us on the Top City Metal Supply text line. That's 785-272-9429. No more wasting money on metal pieces that leave you with unnecessary leftovers. Top City Metal Supply will cut exact lengths of aluminum, steel, and stainless steel, tailored to your project's specifications. Start optimizing your budget with Top City Metal Supply on South Topeka Boulevard, just north of Forbes Field. Still to come this hour, we've got our KU player profile for the week. Typically, we would do those on Tuesday, but KU's media availability moved to Wednesday this week, and that's when Brendan and I ran down Jared Casey, the senior tight end for the Jayhawks, talked to him about what KU needs to do to pull themselves out of their 3-game losing streak, but we also talked, much more crucially, about the biggest rivalry in his high school days, the Plainville-Smith Center game, which is this Friday night, tonight, in fact. And we also talked about Applebee's. So, the important stuff we covered with number 47, the Kansas Jayhawks, Jared
that's
Casey.
right.
That is coming up at the bottom of this hour. Also, still to come this hour, our September semifinals and What Is Wrong With You. We have 4 champions. We will have 2 left over after today who will compete for the championship on Monday's show. Again, we are taking you up to 5:30 for Royals baseball tonight. The Royals and Braves starting the final series of the regular season at Truist Park tonight. And despite Hurricane Helene ravaging much of the American Southeast, the weather actually doesn't look so frightful in whatever suburb it is that they've planted that stadium so that people can go to Braves games and then drive further away from Atlanta after the game is over. The game is still on as scheduled, 6:20 first pitch tonight. Max Fried, the all-star left-hander on the mound for Atlanta. Brady Singer, the right-hander on the mound for the Royals. If the Royals win, they're in. The magic number is 1 for their postseason chances. They could also get in tonight with a Twins loss as the Twins open a 3-game series with the Baltimore Orioles in Minnesota at Target Field. Now, these games still mean something to Baltimore. They have to win one more game to clinch home field advantage as the number 4 seed. They cannot win the AL East after losing last night to the Yankees. The Yankees wrapped up the division title, but Baltimore does not own the tiebreaker against Detroit. And as you all know, Detroit is never losing again. So Baltimore would like to have home field advantage for that 4-5 wild card series. But to guarantee it, they've got to win one more game because they don't own the tiebreaker with Detroit. So Baltimore will be playing to win, theoretically speaking. Unfortunately, the starting pitcher they're sending to the mound tonight, left-hander Cade Povich, carries an ERA in the mid-5s.
More like Cade Blovich.
More like Maury Povich, because the Twins are going to be his father after tonight's game.
We're steering into very dangerous territory here.
I was pretty proud of that one. And it's Pablo Lopez, the excellent veteran right-hander for the Twins, who laid a stinker his last time out against Boston. He'll be looking to respond to that. Twins, of course, have to win out to make the postseason and hope that the Royals lose out at this point. So those will be the games to keep an eye on tonight. That game in Minneapolis has a first pitch time. I had it in front of me, and then I lost it, and now I have it back. 7:10. So they'll get started about an hour after the Royals and the Braves do tonight. Again, catch the Royals all weekend right here on 580 WIBW. But let's jump into week number 5 of our Prairie Band Sportsbook 580 Sports Talk Picks Contest as we start to look ahead towards the football weekend that will be. Again, all lines are as of this afternoon from Prairie Band Sportsbook up at Prairie Band Casino and Resort in Mayetta. A great place to watch all of the important sports action. Gosh, starting tonight, there's college football. Obviously, there's lots of baseball you want to keep an eye on. Huge college football Saturday, including Alabama, Georgia, and, of course, always an exciting NFL Sunday highlighted by the Chiefs kicking off against the Chargers at 3:25. You can watch it all and bet your way at Prairie Band Sportsbook, just inside the main entrance to the Prairie Band Casino and Resort, just to your right, next to Three Fires Steakhouse, the Prairie Band Sportsbook. In our picks contest, Brendan is still in the lead, but it is a much less comfortable advantage than it was going into last week after Brendan went 1-4 in his picks last week. Yours truly now into second place by half a game over Spencer. I'm 7-10-1 on the season after going 4-1 last week. Spencer, a winning week last week as well, 3-2. He is 7-11 overall. Brendan,
we're crawling back in there.
A lot of season left. Brendan is still in the lead by 2.5 games. All right. We'll start from the bottom this week. We started at the top last week. We let Brendan make his picks first. Spencer, we're going to let
that
you.
That is not true. We started at the bottom last week.
Did we start at the bottom last week?
It's totally fine. Yes.
No, you're right.
No. It's fine. Start at the bottom.
Okay. Spencer, you're going to make your picks first.
I just had to jump in and demand that you know that you're wrong.
Okay. I don't think I am, but that's fine. Spencer, you're going to make your picks first this week. Again, here are the rules. 2 college football picks against the spread, 2 NFL picks against the spread, and a wild card pick that can be anything. I keep saying that, but it's always a total. It's never anything else. It's always a total.
I think Spencer hit us week 1 with a player prop.
He did.
I believe you had Jaden Daniels
Jaden
touchdown
Daniels
passes.
prop. Yeah.
Well, that didn't really help.
It did not work out.
So
But
I've
it was
gone away
different.
from that.
It was unique.
Yes. All right, we're starting college football. Texas A&M favored by 6 against Arkansas. It was 5.5 at one point today, but it did move earlier to 6. I had it at 5.5, but it is 6 earlier. Or I'm taking it at 6 now. Excuse me. Fresno State plus 1.5 against UNLV. UNLV is just that a tough week. Very tough week.
They did have a tough week.
They're reeling.
I had a gut reaction earlier this week, and I jumped on that line when it was Fresno State minus 1.5. It was making me queasy that it's jumped back over the fence. And now I'm really queasy because you're picking it. But, man, Fresno State has outperformed the spread like crazy this year. And that's not a bad pick. Like, I like the pick. I'm just nervous about it now, but I do like the pick.
I mean, they don't have a quarterback, right? Their backup quarterback for UNLV is their quarterback.
So this is true, but it does bear mentioning that the backup for UNLV ran the show throughout spring football. They didn't get Matthew Sluka in until the fall. So he's got some experience. He got some experience running with the one. So not all is not lost for UNLV.
All right, let's hit the NFL now. Houston favored by 6 against Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is just implosion. It's imploded.
That team is a turd right now.
Yeah.
Like a big stinky turd.
Yeah.
That's all they are.
I've got Texans running away with that, obviously.
Okay.
This is an opposite pick of one of you guys, Brendan, to be exact.
Yeah, this is the first time we've had that this year. This will be fun.
Yeah. Indianapolis plus 1.5 over Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Underdogs by 1.5 points in this one.
Home dog.
Yeah.
You like the home dog.
dogs. I think Justin Fields is not going to go a perfect 4-0 as the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right. Your wild card?
My wild card is my lock of the week, Washington, Arizona. I think it's going over the 50 that it was projected. There's no hook there. It's just 50. Lot of stuff to talk about in this ball game when it comes to storylines. First of all, you've got Cliff Kingsbury revenge game potential against his former team where he was the head coach, couldn't figure it out, got fired. Jaden Daniels has found a stride. Commanders also got acclimated to Arizona a little bit early. They went out there after their Monday Night Football game. So I think that might help them offensively. For Arizona, Kyler going against his former head coach. He wants to show him that he can actually be the quarterback that everybody thinks that Kyler can be. Also, Mander's secondary is reeling. So expect this one over 50 points to hit.
So there you have it. He's laying 6 with Texas A&M, taking 1.5 with Fresno State, laying 6 with the Texans, taking 1.5 with the home dogs, the Colts, and he's over the 50 on Washington and Arizona.
I did not even realize that my NFL and college football picks mirror each other.
Yeah, the numbers, they're the exact same. Yeah, you're laying
didn't even do
laying 6 with one team and taking 1.5 with the other. All right, for my picks this week, I'm in second place. I'll go second. My first pick, it's a college pick. It's my lock of the week. BYU +3 at Baylor. I still don't know how good I think BYU is, but I know how good I think Baylor isn't. And I think in this matchup, I think Baylor will still be reeling about blowing that game in Boulder last Saturday. I think BYU's riding high. I think they're better offensively than we thought they were going to be. Jake Ratzlaff is playing good football. And defensively, they're doing an outstanding job. They made life difficult on a young quarterback, Avery Johnson, last week. And yes, it's a different environment going from the home to the road. But Baylor's got a young quarterback, too, in Sawyer Robertson. And I think they can make life just as hard for him. I'll take BYU in a field goal in Waco. Also on a big road dog, Illinois is an 18.5-point underdog at Penn State. It's a whiteout at Beaver Stadium. I may regret this. I may regret betting on a home team not to cover on a whiteout night, especially in an atmosphere like you get up at State College. But I just don't think Illinois is 18.5 points worse than that team. Their secondary is really good. This is going to be a real, true test for Drew Aller, and I still don't quite believe that he's up for it, even with the play calling of Andy Kotelnicki. I think Illinois has the juice to keep this close. I don't think they'll win, but I absolutely think they can stay within 18.5. So I will take Illinois to cover 18.5 at Penn State.
Scott Van Pelt featured that pick on SportsCenter last night, and he picked Penn State, and his entire reasoning was this doesn't make any sense. Why in the world is Penn State favored by that much?
It's just a monster line.
It is. It's huge.
There was another one that didn't make sense. Like Michigan State, I think, is 24.5-point dogs against Ohio State. Michigan State's at home, but Michigan State don't have any players. Like when you really look at their roster, they got no dudes. I'm on a couple of underdogs in my NFL picks this week. Tampa Bay +1.5 at home against Philadelphia. I know Philly won last week. It was very unconvincing. They're banged up. No Lane Johnson in all likelihood. Tampa Bay, I think, was humiliated by that home loss to Denver. They're going to bounce back at home. They're going to beat Philadelphia. I got Tampa Bay +1 in the hook. And then Buffalo-Baltimore, the Sunday night football game. I just think the Bills are better. And I think Josh Allen is playing better football than anyone else on the planet right now. They're getting 2 at Baltimore. I think the Ravens have problems. I think Buffalo knows who they are. I like the Bills +2. My wild card is an over from the Big 12. Colorado and UCF. The number is 62.5. I'm going over that number. UCF is going to run it and dare Colorado to stop it, and they're not going to be able to. But also, UCF gave up 400 passing yards to Josh Hoover. I think there are going to be some splash plays for Shadur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and company. This strikes me as a game where UCF is in pretty firm control, but CU puts up a couple of splash plays. It feels like a 50-30 kind of football game. I think it's going way over the total.
Real quick, because I don't know when we'll get to this the rest of the show. Which gap is bigger, between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, or between Josh Allen and the rest of the NFL quarterbacks?
That's such a good question.
The way that this season has gone, I think it is the closest it's ever been between Mahomes and his number 2.
Right this second,
I would agree.
yes. Right this second, yes. Like,
I'm still taking Mahomes.
yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Bigger picture, I would still say that the gap between Mahomes and Allen is larger just based on what he's accomplished and what we've seen over the broad course of both of their careers.
Totally
but
fair.
right this second, the way both guys are playing, Allen's playing better than Mahomes right now.
No, you're right about
He
that.
definitely closed the gap. All right, Brendan, what are your 5 picks this week?
All right, so a little teaser for what's coming up at the end of this segment. I'm going with K-State. I think they beat Oklahoma State in this game. I really do not like this Oklahoma State team, the way that they're playing right now. I've got some major worries. My microphone is also
I have some worries about your microphone.
We've been playing musical chairs with it, and I don't know what's going on.
All right. Hold on.
Yeah, swap it back to that other microphone. While you do that, I will tell the listeners that in their last 9 games coming off of a loss, K-State is 9-0 with an average margin of victory of 24 points. And that includes a 48-0 beatdown of Oklahoma State 2 years ago, also known as the Will Howard game.
Yes. So I'm going to go with K-State in that one. I don't trust right now Alan Bowman at all. He only looks at Brennan Presley, who's great. But that's pretty much their entire offense because Ollie Gordon can't get it going.
I like that pick.
I've also got a huge spread here. USC at home, 15.5-point favorites over Wisconsin. Stats performs tracer metrics says USC by 13.5 on a neutral site or at a neutral field. I like USC with some home points. Bill Connolly and SP Plus likes Wisconsin to cover this spread. Here's the problem with that. Wisconsin sucks.
Yeah, they're bad.
They're the Jaguars of college football, which is not something you want to be. NFL picks for this week. Spencer, you mentioned it earlier. We are on the inverse sides of Pittsburgh versus Indianapolis. You're taking the home dogs, Indy. Not only am I taking Pittsburgh is my lock of the week. Anthony Richardson, I'll call my shot. He's going to look like garbage this week. Against that defense, yikes. Give me Pittsburgh on the road in Indy in that one. Also, New England, 10.5-point road dog at San Francisco, and I'm taking the Patriots to cover 10.5 points. The Niners lost another linebacker for the year today. Curtis Robinson torn ACL. That team's in a bad spot. McCaffrey's not coming back probably all year if I had to guess at this point. I'm taking New England. I think they'll keep it close. My wild card, going back to that Pitt-Indy game, I'm going with the under 40 points. I think Pittsburgh will score a bit. I don't think Indy is going to score at all. So that spells under to me.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's a good under team now.
Yes, they are.
I think. Real quick, before we get to the college football action in state this week, we do have breaking news on the Chargers injury report. The Chargers are officially listing quarterback Justin Herbert as questionable for Sunday's game against the Chiefs. That is per Adam Schefter and the Chargers participation report. Joe Alt also questionable despite not practicing all week. That means Joey Bosa out. Rashawn Slater out. Junior Colson, linebacker, also listed as out.
I'm going to guess this is a little Jim Harbaugh thinking he's still in college here. I cannot imagine them starting either Herbert or Alt this week.
With the bye week next week, especially,
it's not worth it.
I
don't think it's worth it for them. But
Alt was down the whole time. Like nobody expected him to go all week.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd be really surprised. Even though he's a questionable, I'd still be really surprised we saw him out there. So those are our picks in our Prairie Band Sportsbook 580 Sports Talk Picks Contest. If you want to review those, you can check them out on our website, 580wibw.com. All right. In-state college football, you mentioned K-State, Oklahoma State, an 11 a.m. kickoff at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. K-State's record coming off of losses is really good, and they don't just win these games, they win big. Kind of leaning toward them doing the same against an Oklahoma State team that has some real problems. Let's get a quick key to this one. Spencer, we'll start with you.
Get Dylan Edwards more involved. That's easy as that.
Boy.
Whether it be through the passing game or running game.
Yeah, he's a game breaker, and right now K-State needs guys who can have splash plays. They're kind of missing those splash plays from the offense right now. Dylan Edwards can be a source of those. My big key is just pound the rock. I don't think this Oklahoma State team can stop the run. I watched them against Utah last week. Even though they knew the run was coming, there was nothing they could do about it. Micah Bernard had a big day. The quarterback run was effective when Isaac Wilson ran the ball. I just don't think Oklahoma State can do anything with this K-State running game. So pound that rock. Brendan, what's your key?
Take care of the ball. That's it. Uncharacteristic fumble last week. Uncharacteristically awful interceptions, by Avery. Just take care of the ball. I think that's all you're going to need to do. Run your stuff. Take care of the ball. You should be able to win.
Meanwhile, at Arrowhead Stadium, it'll be the Jayhawks and the Horned Frogs at 2:30 p.m. Loser is in deep trouble. You can say that about K-State, Oklahoma State, too. Two teams that had Big 12 championship game aspirations. The loser of that game is 0-2 with some tough games still ahead. KU, TCU, neither of those teams wants to be 0-2 in league play. My big key to this one for KU is win the turnover battle. Josh Hoover and the Horned Frogs are going to give the ball away. They are going to do it. They did it a lot against SMU, and SMU scored a zillion points last Saturday in the Skillet game. Take advantage of those opportunities. Take care of the ball. Don't give away short fields. Don't give away possessions, and there should be enough possessions in this game for KU to win.
TCU can't stop the run. They are extremely bad against the run, in fact. So what does KU do really well? They run the ball. Keep running the ball. Daniel Highshaw and Devin Neal should account for 60+% of the offensive snaps or offensive touches in this game for KU. Just lean on your best players. Let them make plays until they stop it. Don't go away from that.
Spencer, key the game.
We think he's broken. Everyone says he could be broken, but we need to know, is Jalen Daniels viable? Can he get into a rhythm? I think if you get him into a rhythm early, that can help you win your first conference game of the year and try to get back on track.
We'll take a timeout. When we come back, it's our September semifinals and What Is Wrong With You from the Kansas Drive to Zero studio on 580 Sports Talk. It's the end of the month of September, so it's time for the semifinals in What Is Wrong With You. Our 4 weekly champions vie for a spot in the championship round, which will take place on Monday's edition of 580 Sports Talk. We got 4 stories. 2 of them were mine, and 2 of them, Brendan, were yours. And so we're kind of pitting them against each other a little bit. Our first semifinal, fantasy football, very real terroristic threats. A gentleman from Philadelphia who had a disagreement in a fantasy football group chat. It happens. You know, trash talking goes too far. You don't like being made fun of if your team's 0-8 or whatever it is. This guy took it way too far because he told Norwegian police that another member of his group chat was planning a mass shooting. And then while he was being investigated for doing that, emailed the University of Iowa a screenshot of the group chat, which included a member of the chat accusing another of planning to blow up the school. So he was being prosecuted for one hoax threat in a different country, and then he decided to send another. He faces a maximum of 5 years in prison.
He should be in for longer than that. Like, you should get a stupid tax on that.
Fantasy football, very real terroristic threats. That goes up against, you can't repo my car if I blow it up.
So from Harrison Township, Michigan, specifically Macomb County, police arrested a man one Tuesday earlier this month who is believed to have created a bomb hoax in order to prevent his car from getting repossessed. So effectively, here's what he did. His car was going to get repoed. He owed a lot on it, wasn't paying his bills. So he put a couple of propane tanks in the front seat of his car with electrical wires running from the tank to the middle of the console. He also put up a note on the car that said, if you open this car door, it's going to blow up. This bomb is going to explode. Here's the problem. The wires weren't connected to anything. There were no explosives. Nothing was going to blow up. Here's the other problem with this whole thing. If you blow up your car, you don't have your car anymore. If you get your car repoed, you don't have your car anymore. If they take your car thinking it has a bomb in it, you do not have your car anymore. What did you think you were going to get out of this? Did you think they were just going to leave the bomb car and say, oh, can't touch it, gotta back off?
I really like both of these stories. I think I lean toward you can't repo my car if I blow it up, just because it so clearly did not think things through. But again, committing a crime while being investigated for committing a crime is also a really good story as well. So I'm good with the wisdom of the crowd here.
Man, I'm actually going to go with the first story here.
Fantasy football.
Because this other one is
so ridiculous.
It's really funny. It's really, really good. This dude called in a bomb threat over like Amari Cooper. That's too strong, dude.
I didn't get my waiver claim. I'm going to pretend that you want to do a mass shooting in Norway.
Like, okay, dude, we'll turn on the auto sub feature on Sleeper. It's fine.
You're in agreement then, Spence?
Yeah, that's a good battle, but I'm going with the first
Fantasy football, very real terroristic threats advances. The next semifinal, we called this one, I forget which YouTube commenter called it, the FedEx, a 33-year-old man who mailed himself to his ex's house in Holland, the Netherlands. He believed it was the only way to get inside the apartment and get his stuff back after he and his significant other broke up after a 1-year relationship. It was the culmination of a series of incidents that included the theft of her keys, trespassing, and placing a tracker in her home. He also had a gun with him in the box he mailed himself to her house with and threatened her and took off with the keys. He's going to serve 4 months in jail.
I can't believe it's only 4 months.
So that is one story. The FedEx mailed himself to his ex's house. Taking on our weekly champion from this past week, Dog Looks Like a Panda.
Because the panda was indeed a dog. At the Shanwei Zoo in China, guests thought they were going to see a panda exhibit. It turned out they just saw a handful of chow chows, a very common dog in China, painted to look like pandas. And the zoo goers were able to tell pretty quickly because the pandas were barking.
That's just the best part of it.
That sounds like a line from Weekend Update.
It's just so obvious that they're not pandas.
No, they're barking, they're panting in the heat.
They're smiling like dogs.
Like
if you've ever seen a panda and a dog in your life, you know the difference.
Exactly.
And then the zoo was like, well, we didn't have any pandas, so yeah, what were we going to do? We open this panda exhibit. We have 8 pandas.
Just say you have dogs.
That's better than giving out the refunds.
Yeah, right.
That's got to win.
Yeah, that one wins. That one wins.
Dog looks like a panda against fantasy football. Very real terroristic threats. That's going to be our championship matchup for the month of September. And what is wrong with you? Our KU player profile with Jared Casey's next on 580 Sports Talk. Earlier this week, Brendan and I had a chance to speak with Kansas senior tight end Jared Casey. It's our KU player profile this week. Our guest today and our KU player profile is the senior tight end Jared Casey, the Pride of Plainville, Kansas. And Jared, I know this has been a tough time, a tough stretch of games for you and your Jayhawk teammates. What kinds of things are you getting back to in practice or making sure that you're emphasizing throughout the week of preparation as you get ready for your next game here on Saturday against TCU to try and get back to good habits, get back to winning ways as a group?
Yeah, we're really focusing on the fundamentals of obviously finishing games, right? That's kind of been the main thing these last 3 games is we haven't been able to finish. And we've been leading up until the last 2 minutes in the fourth quarter of all 3 that we've lost. So we've really been focusing on in practice, the finishing part of practice, and that'll translate over to the game.
Having been a part of the program wherein at a time when the expectations weren't as high, having been a part of the growth of what this program has been able to accomplish over the last couple of seasons, does that give you think, some valuable perspective to be able to say, hey, look, losing, failure, this stuff isn't fatal. It's correctable. We can fix it. We can build on it. We've done it before. We can do it again. Is that valuable perspective for you and your fellow veteran teammates to have at this moment?
Yeah, most definitely. Like you said, we were here. Coach Leipold's first year here was 2-10, and then we went 6-7, and then 9-4 last year. So we know that when we get that film watched of the last game, it's time to flip the page, and nobody cares about how you feel. Nobody cares that you lost. So it's just us in the building, and we know that we got to get back to work, and we got to get a win this weekend.
Jared Casey is our guest, tight end for the Kansas Jayhawks here on 580 Sports Talk. KU versus TCU coming up this weekend from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Why don't we start right there as we look ahead, Jared? Getting to play at Arrowhead, the home of the Chiefs. I don't know if you yourself grew up a Chiefs fan out there in Western Kansas, but how exciting is it to get to play for your next four home games this season, last four this season, at a place that has held a lot of championship football in recent years?
Yeah, I have been a Chiefs fan for my whole life, so it is really cool to be able to play in Arrowhead. We practiced there once during fall camp, and just getting the chance to be able to play, like you said, the next four home games there is really cool, and we're going to take advantage of that and hopefully get 4 wins when we get in there.
All right, so speaking of growing up being an NFL fan and just being a fan still to this day, I know for your preseason profile over at the KU Athletics website, you were asked who your favorite players are in the game. Your 2 answers were Ray Lewis and Kyle Juszczyk. I think most people could say, yeah, they understand Juice. He's one of the best H-back, fullback tight ends in the game today. Why both of them, though? Why both Kyle Juszczyk and Ray Lewis?
Yeah, first of all, when I was I was in middle school and high school, I played linebacker and running back. So that's where Ray Lewis came into play. Just his mentality and just his speeches towards his team just made you kind of want to run through a brick wall. So that's where that aspect came from. And then Kyle Juszczyk, obviously kind of speaks for himself. One of the best, if not the best, fullback, H-back type guys in the NFL. And I tried to really follow his steps and what he does, and I watch film on him and how he blocks and how he runs routes. So I try to really follow my game after what he does.
We talked to a lot of athletes in college football who maybe played both ways in high school, or they started as an offensive player, switched to defense. And I often ask guys like, hey, do you miss playing on the offensive side of the ball if they're a defensive player now? And they say, no, I like hitting people. So I'm pretty comfortable on the defensive side. Do you ever miss playing linebacker? Do you ever think, and you get to hit a lot as a tight end, but do you ever think like, dang, I'd like to make a few more tackles?
Yeah, I do miss playing linebacker. That was really fun. And then obviously I switched to offense when I got to college, but I really like playing linebacker. So,
Jared, Dan asked you a few moments ago about perspective, and the perspective that, that first season you were playing back in 2021, the team wins 2 games, and, how that perspective can help you now going through a tough time. But when you look at your whole career, and I know you're focused in on the here and now and winning games here in 2024, but do you ever take a step back and sort of think about the way your career has evolved from being, a redshirt freshman playing mostly special teams that 2021 year to quite literally becoming an overnight college football nationwide superstar to now being such a key focal point of this Jayhawks team for years and years now? Do you ever take a step back and just sort of think about what this experience at KU has been like?
Oh, yeah, all the time, especially, when you get away from the building, or I've told many people, especially when I go back home, just seeing like where and just thinking about talking with my parents and all my siblings about how fun this journey has really been, and just really cool to be able to go a lot of places and play the game that I love, and being able to travel with the guys and just have this team aspect and the brothers that I've had from this whole journey. So I take a step back and look at it from a wide perspective a lot of times and just realize how blessed I truly am.
Speaking of the guys, so many of you guys have been together for so long. Just in the tight end room, you and Trevor came in together, Trevor Cardell. You and JD have played together for so long. Luke and the receivers and Devin and the rest of that running backs room. Just on the offensive side of the ball, so many of you guys have been with this program for so long. What is that bond like? Not just you and the other guys in your position group, but this offense that has been such a close-knit group for so many years. What has it been like to go through all of these moments and so many high point moments in the last couple of seasons? What's it been like to go through that as a big group?
It's really, really fun and cool to be able to play with these guys. Like you said, we've been together for basically my whole entire career here, and just seeing like us stick it out and just be here and go through the tough times, and being able to lean on each other through the thick and the thin. And it's a lot more than just football. It really does build lifelong friendships and relationships. And, some of those guys will be in my wedding someday. So just being able to have that, those really close friends, being able to play with them on the field, and just really, really being able to build that relationship on and off the field is really cool.
Couple of more questions for Jared Casey, the tight end out of Plainville High School in Plainville, Kansas. And Jared, I know you're proud to be from Plainville. We've talked to you in the past about that, and really kind of helped put them on the map when you started to rise to prominence in your KU career. Your Cardinals are 2-1 so far in this 2024 season. Big home win over Russell last Friday night. How close a track do you keep of Plainville High football, and how close a track do you keep with that program?
Yeah, I try to watch them every single Friday night. I'm pretty sure they play Smith Center this week, so it's the big rivalry for them. So I'll be obviously tuned in watching them on Friday night. But I try to pay pretty close attention on the bye weeks. I try to usually go back and watch them. I know this bye week, I think they play like 4 hours away from Plainville, so I won't be able to make that. But yeah, I try to follow along. Especially my brother is the assistant coach there still, so I try to follow along pretty close.
You mentioned the Smith Center rivalry. It's one of the great small school rivalries really in the state of Kansas. Describe what it was like the week of that game back in your high school days, and how does it compare to some of the rivalry games in the Big 12 that you get up for?
It's a little bit different, to be honest. A little bigger aspect now with a lot more going on than just 200 to 500 fans that would come out to watch. But yeah, it was really cool. Obviously, my last game in my high school career, we lost by 1 to them, and I still think about that a little bit. Still salty a little bit, but no, yeah, it's still pretty cool to tune in and watch those guys, and just being able to see like where I came from and where I'm at now. So.
When you do get the occasion to go back, I'm sure that you remember growing up in that community and looking up to the guys who were playing on Friday nights and maybe wanting to be like them. Are you conscious of knowing that now there are not just young people, but maybe even some of the people on that varsity roster who are saying, I want to be like Jared Casey? Yeah,
I know a few of the guys still on that high school team, and and I go back, I'll have to sign some autographs or take pictures with some kids. So it's really cool to be able to be a role model for those kids. And like you said, I was one of those guys that looked up to the high school kids and just wanted to be like them someday. And then now I get the opportunity to be a role model for them. And it's just kind of cool how things have changed, and it's kind of like how the tables have turned, and just being able to be there for them and being able to take pictures and make their days is something that's pretty cool and special.
Jared, last thing we've got for you, and I know you've been asked about this a ton of times, and it came up during the lead up to the season this year during fall camp, but you, the face of Applebee's in the state of Kansas, had to cut the bees out of your diet this year. You said you were doing some different things. You haven't been eating there as much. What's it been like to have part of your superstar not be part of the brand this year?
It's been a little different. Yeah, I've been especially before the season and winter and spring and summer, I really started to cut down on what fat I was eating, and I was really honed in on what I was eating and what I was drinking. So I just really had to get away from all the fried food and stuff and just kind of stick to the basic protein and vegetables and carbohydrates. So that's just kind of what I stuck to. But I'm not gonna lie. I would still go to Applebee's here and there if I get the opportunity to.
Jared Casey, senior tight end for the Kansas Jayhawks. They take on TCU at Arrowhead Stadium this Saturday. Jared, all the best to you and the rest of the Jayhawks this Saturday and the rest of the season. And thanks for taking the time today.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Jared Casey. We'll come back and wrap up the 4 o'clock hour 580 Sports Talk next. On second thought, I sat behind these microphones in March and said the American League Central is going to be the worst division in baseball. And I'm not the only one that had that opinion. There are going to be 3 AL Central teams in the playoffs. Absolutely incredible. Half the playoff field in the American League is coming from the Central. That's regardless of what happens. Even in a worst-case scenario for the Royals, and I don't even want to speak into existence, it's going to be the Tigers, the 2 of the 3 of the Tigers, the Royals, and the Twins making the playoffs as the wild cards. That's absolutely incredible.
On second thought, last Friday, I should have looked at the schedule and seen what time that Syracuse versus Stanford kicked off. Because I told you it was going to happen on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock Central Time, and that body clocks were going to be a major part of the game, and that's why Stanford was going to lose. And then it turned out we went off the air, and Stanford and Syracuse immediately thereafter kicked off, and I realized, uh-oh. Shockingly, I did not have a good week of picks last week.
It'd be like that sometimes. Spencer, you got a second thought?
Yeah, I've got 2 because I've got one and then one Royals related. So on second thought, I really didn't think the Commanders would pull it out on Monday night. They don't like primetime. Washington's franchises have never loved primetime. They always get blown out. I thought just getting Jaden Daniels into a rhythm was going to be a win, but you know what? Jaden Daniels proved he went out there and balled, and he stuck in there on that last play, which is just he He could have died on that last play. Also, Royals here. I did not think that it would take until the last series. After the summer, I didn't think it'd take until the last series to potentially clinch.
It does come down to this weekend. Again, the Royals start tonight at 6:20, so we'll give way at 5:30 for pregame coverage from the Royals Baseball Network. So we've got a half hour of 580 Sports Talk left for you, and Brendan and Spencer are going to take you the rest of the way. I'm on my way to Bowen Glaze Stadium for our Lewis Toyota 580 Preps Game of the Week tonight. We've got high school football from Bowen Glaze Stadium as Washburn Rural plays host to undefeated Blue Valley Northwest and the best player in the state of Kansas, Huskies left tackle Andrew Babalola.
Is he number one?
Yes.
Yeah, because Cheer is number two. Yeah.
Yeah, 24/7 Sports Composite has Babalola as the number one player in the state of Kansas. He can go anywhere he wants. That young man is something special. If you've ever shown up to a game to see a lineman, you might want to do it tonight. Pre-game coverage at 6:45, kickoff at 7 o'clock in the game between the Junior Blues and the Huskies over on our sister station, Country 106.9, mycountry1069.com. Hope you will join me for the Lewis Toyota High School Football 580 Preps Game of the Week tonight. Spencer will be on the sideline. Greg Akagi will join me in the booth. That'll do it for this hour of the show. We've got some headlines. We got a Royals preview. We got a final word. We've only got half an hour. Brendan and Spencer will take it from here. This is 580 Sports Talk from the Kansas Drive to Zero studio.
now. It's the final hour of 580 Sports Talk coming your way on 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online around the world at 580WIBW.com, and also, of course, on our YouTube channel. Head to youtube.com, search 580 Sports Talk. That's the easiest way to find us. Subscribe to the channel while you are there. You can check out the show today live in living color. You can hang out with us in the comments section as well. Again, that's on YouTube, where the channel is the same name as our show name, 580 Sports Talk. I said final hour. It's actually the final half hour of the show today. I'm Brendan Dworzinski. On the other side of the glass, it is Spencer Dupuis.
Not even a half hour.
Yeah,
we don't even get a whole half hour.
20 minutes-ish the rest of the way. And then we will send you off to Royals baseball. Boys in blue taking on the Atlanta Braves tonight down in the Peach State. Even with Hurricane Helene tearing up the southeastern United States, thankfully they're going to get some baseball in at Truist Park today. Dan Lucero is on his way to Bowen Glaze Stadium at Washburn Rural High School for our Lewis Toyota 580 Preps Game of the Week. Washburn Rural taking on undefeated Blue Valley Northwest and the number 1 ranked recruit in the state of Kansas, Andrew Babalola. That game is coming up tonight on our sister station, Country 1069. Pregame at 6:45 and kickoff at 7 o'clock from Southwest Topeka. This will be your first time out at Washburn Rural, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it will. Not too far from where I live, so I'm happy about that.
No, nice dry drive for you.
I did not like the driving to the north side of Topeka.
Seaman, yeah, it's a bit of a drive, a
or
bit of a hike.
We went to Rossville.
Yeah, it's Silver Lake. I
Silver
believe.
Lake, yeah,
yeah, for the
just the driving
24.
to North Topeka part, like all the construction.
It's not
I'm
great.
happy I don't have to deal with that.
It is not especially fun right now.
Especially
Thankfully,
because last week I got confused at how to get there because I thought I knew how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Dan had told me I had pictured it a different way.
Sure.
And then I left before our colleague Greg Akagi.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I'll see you up there in like 25, 30 minutes. And I got there and he was already like in the booth getting ready for the game. And I was like, I left before him.
How did this happen?
Yeah.
No, thankfully, much easier driving right now down to Washburn Rural. So that game again coming up tonight, our Lewis Toyota 580 Preps Game of the Week, Washburn Rural versus Blue Valley Northwest over on Country 1069. We've got to get to headlines, and we will get to our Royals preview for the weekend. They can clinch a spot in the postseason tonight if they get a win or a Twins loss. Plus, we'll be out of here with the final word coming up in just a little bit. We still want your comments on the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. Hit us up on the Top City Metal Supply text line as well, 785-272-9429. That's 785-272-WIBW for the Top City Metal Supply text line. Let's get to it, Spencer. Our 580 Sports Talk headlines to wrap up this feel-good football Friday afternoon. And I will start today with the Chiefs injury report. Nice and clean for the Chiefs today. Only one player who is going to miss the game. That is Mike Dana. He is out due to a calf injury. Was not on the injury report Wednesday, DNP Thursday. Was able to practice on a limited basis today. You don't need him this week. It's fine. He is out with the injury. Everybody else who is on the injury report this week, full participant. No worries. They are all good to go. As for the Los Angeles Chargers, Jim Harbaugh is doing his best impersonation of a college coach and is trying to hide as much injury information as he possibly can. So here is the rundown for the Chargers today. Joey Bosa, Junior Colson, he's the rookie linebacker. They are both out due to a hip and a hamstring injury, respectively. So those are the only two guys we know are out. Meanwhile, offensive tackle Joe Alt, who you mentioned it earlier, and I feel the same way as you. I would be shocked if he played in this game. I thought it was for sure he was going to be out. He is listed as questionable. Also questionable, the other starting offensive tackle, or pardon me, I missed this. Rashawn Slater, he's also out. So one tackle questionable, we expect to be out. The other starting tackle for the Chargers, definitely out. My apologies, I missed Rashawn Slater on here earlier. As for the guys who are questionable, it includes quarterback Justin Herbert dealing with an ankle injury. It's a high ankle sprain, limited all week. He's questionable. I would be utterly shocked, stunned, surprised if he was able to go and gets the start on Sunday afternoon. Also questionable, Darius Davis, reserve wide receiver. He's got a hamstring. Limited Wednesday, did not participate the last 2 days. Meanwhile, Christian Fulton, cornerback for the Chargers, he's got a knee issue, but he was a full participant today, listed as questionable, assumed that he will be able to go. Deion Leonard, cornerback, special teamer, he's got a hamstring as well, was fine all week until today. When a hamstring popped up, he was limited. He is questionable for the game. And Jazir Taylor, with a fibula injury, did not participate in practice today, limited the prior two. He's questionable. Again, would not be surprised if he is not able to go. But that's your run through of the injury report for Chiefs versus Chargers coming up this weekend from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Inglewood, technically 3:25 kickoff for that one. While we're on the topic, Spencer,
I was going to ask if we're thinking about the same thing here.
Yes, I believe we were. The broadcast map?
Oh, no.
No. Okay. What were you thinking of?
I was talking about injury news.
Why don't you hit us with the injury news, then we'll get to the broadcast map.
MLB. It's Royals related. I didn't know if we wanted to hit that.
All right, let's get to the NFL first. We'll get to that here in just a second. I did want to let you know, as we know, Chiefs versus Chargers, we're going to have that game on TV. It's the late game on CBS coming up on Sunday. There's only one other late game. It's the Browns versus Raiders game. That one is being shown only in those two markets. What a disgusting game.
Yeah, 98% of America is going to get.
Right. All right, so other games we are going to get. I am so mad. The Broncos and the Jets, that is our early game. We are going to get that on CBS, Iron Eagle, Charles Davis. And the reason I'm mad is that if I drove to Kansas City, I would be able to see Packers-Vikings, but not in Topeka. And I am very upset about it. I do not like it. Our Fox game of the week, we just have a single game. It is the early window. That is Philadelphia versus Tampa Bay. Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady on the call of that one. So that's your NFL broadcast and injury lookout for the weekend. Spencer, why don't we get to that baseball news?
Yeah, so it's kind of a big update. Vinny Pasquantino, he took BP yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, he was sitting off a tee yesterday.
Yeah, at Nats Park in D.C. He's again taking it today. He is scheduled to face Will Smith in a live BP tomorrow.
Two men enter, only one man can leave.
This is in a tweet from Ann Rodgers. There are still boxes Pasquantino has to check before being game ready, plus assessing how it feels after each one. But he's, quote, well ahead of schedule, according to Matt Quattrero.
Well, love to hear that. I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to get burned.
But I mean, he was running today. Like he's I mean, you just see all these videos and it's like, wow, he's actually might come back.
It's possible. I hope he does. I am not going to hold out too much hope. Although, I mean, running, he could have done running anytime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was hitting and then running to first is what I was saying.
Yeah.
Which you got to get back into that habit. If you've been sidelined, you got to get the agility and what's the word I'm thinking of?
Like the muscle memory, essentially?
Not the muscle memory, just like your body has got to be in game shape.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Not that was anything close to a game jogging the first, but still.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. I know what you mean. I am going to assume he does not play, but the idea that he could come back, maybe that's going to spark the vibes a little bit for this Royals team. Why don't we touch on the starting lineup for the Royals tonight? In fact, it's Tommy Pham leading off in left. Bobby Witt Jr., he is your shortstop hitting second. Michael Massey hitting third at second base. Salvy's the cleanup man. He's behind the dish today. Yuli Gurriel at first base hitting fifth. Robbie Grossman is DHing in the sixth hole. Hunter Renfroe batting seventh in right field. It's Garrett Hampson getting the start at third base. He's batting eighth. And per usual, Kyle Isbell manning center field. He is in the 9 hole down at Truist Park in Atlanta, well, the Atlanta suburbs tonight.
This is what I have to say about Garrett Hampson playing. I said, no, it's not going to hold on. We got it. Yeah.
Yeah, the first reply on Twitter, too. What is Q's infatuation with Hampson? This dude playing every day is what tells me we're not a good team yet. I think the Royals are indeed a good team, but I get the point. The bottom of the roster, still not especially good. 6:20 first pitch, 5:30 pregame start time on the Royals Radio Network, which you can hear right here on 580 WIBW. Next headline for us today. I'm going to call these two separate headlines because that was just kind of piggybacking on the injury news. Next headline for us here on 580 Sports Talk today. Some major news-ish. I mean, I don't know how much this is really news, frankly. But more realignment chatter. You'll never believe it. Yeah, woo. Oh, boy. Great. This was initially reported by Brett McMurphy last night. Other outlets have since reported the same thing as well. The Mountain West and Commissioner Gloria Nevarez have notified the MAC of its interest in Northern Illinois and Toledo as football-only members coming in 2026. This adds Central Time Zone value to the Mountain West, potentially increasing media rights value. Northern Illinois and Toledo have combined for 7 of the last 13 MAC titles. The Mountain West has 7 football members. They still need 2 full-time members in addition to Northern and Toledo. So the reasoning for this, to have, under FBS rules, to have a full conference with, you can be together and have a conference championship game and you get conference recognition and all that, you have to have 8 full-time members. The Mountain West right now, they only have 6 full-time members. 6 schools that have been in it, San Jose State, UNLV, Nevada, New Mexico, etc., plus Hawaii, but Hawaii is football only. They play all their other sports in the Big West, even less travel because almost all those schools are in California. So Hawaii doesn't count for this. So only the 6 full-time members count. If you add just Northern Illinois and Toledo, that still doesn't count for having the 8 you eventually need. I don't like this at all, Spencer, for a couple of reasons. Number one, leave the MAC alone. It is the last pure regional conference that we have. Leave it alone. Don't touch my beautiful weeknight football conference. It is great the way it is. Don't touch it. Secondly, are we really trying to convince ourselves that there's going to be some sort of major media rights windfall by adding directional Illinois and Toledo? Are we really at a point where we're trying to sell ourselves on pocket change and it's worth moving these teams around because, we're going to increase our media rights value by having the Central Time Zone? Yeah, you know who else is in the Central Time Zone? Alabama.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Texas, our schools locally, the Oklahoma programs, much of the Big Ten. Like, come on, man. Give me a break. This is not going to make some sort of major media rights change. I hope this does not happen.
Well, according to Pete Thamel last night, Texas State has emerged as a target for the Mountain West from the Sun Belt. I believe also the Pac-12 has had conversations with them as well.
Yes, I believe the Pac-12 has. Also, we should note while we're getting to all these random realignment headlines as well, the California government and the city of Sacramento, California, have approved a ton of funding for a brand new stadium at Sac State.
They want it.
They are apparently, for what I read, targeting the Pac-12. I don't know if that'll end up happening, but seems like something is going to happen one way or the other. Well, let's get to one final headline. Spencer, I'll let you take this one. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I saw this last night and I was like, this is a really weird headline. Why don't I bring it up during headlines tomorrow? A federal judge has locked UCLA baseball out of its stadium and practice field, this according to Front Office Sports. To open them back up, the school needs to present a plan for the land that makes serving veterans the predominant focus of the 10 acres leased by the Department of Veterans Affairs. So I can't access all of this story, I don't think, but it appears that part of their land is they lease it from the Department of Veterans Affairs. And
because of that, since it's, I assume, federal land, it must be federal land. They have to, that's wild. So I guess they have to kind of fulfill that mission, and right now they are not.
Yeah.
That's wild. Imagine getting locked out of your stadium, not even by your own school, not by your coaches as some sort of punishment. No, the federal government is stepping in and saying, no, you cannot use your baseball field.
It's wild.
That is absolutely unbelievable. That is going to do it today for our 580 Sports Talk headlines. We have to get to one more break on the show today. We'll come on back, get some final thoughts as we head into Chiefs versus Chargers this weekend, K-State, Oklahoma State, KU versus TCU, high school football, Washburn football tomorrow as well. We've got Royals baseball all weekend. We'll get some final thoughts on all of it coming up on the other side of this timeout here on 580 Sports Talk, live from the Kansas Drive to Zero studio. It is a jam-packed weekend, mostly football, but some baseball as well on our Alpha Media Topeka family of stations and for all of our area teams. Spencer, we're going rapid fire here. Quick thought on all these games. Let's start. Royals, do they clinch tonight?
Yes.
I agree with you. I think they get in tonight. They either get a win or a Twins loss. All right, high school football. Number one thing you're excited about tonight?
Excited to get out to Washburn Rural. It's gonna be a tough game tonight for Washburn Rural. Excited to see a new school.
And
that's what I'm excited to see Washburn Rural compete.
And the number one recruit in the state as well, Andrew Babalola. I'll give you one for Washburn tomorrow on the road at Missouri Western, 2 o'clock kickoff on Country 106.9. I am fired up. Missouri Western, they are beaten up. They had a tough loss in overtime last week. Washburn is on the ascent. I love Washburn's chances this weekend. All right, K-State gets Oklahoma State. Cats are favored by 5. I like the Cats a lot in this one.
Yeah, I do as well. I think that, as I mentioned earlier, is my key. Get Dylan Edwards the ball in any way, shape, form possible.
KU versus TCU. I would love to pick my alma mater. I would love to pick KU in this game, but I can't trust them. That's the number one thing. Matchup-wise, it should match up well for KU. So should have last week, and the UNLV game, and the Illinois game. I would love to pick KU, but I can't until I can trust them again.
Are they playing on a Chiefs end zone, or are they playing on a KU end zone?
KU end zone, I believe.
Maybe
Maybe good vibes with that.
Good vibes.
All right, final one. Chiefs versus Chargers. Is this one going to be close?
No, I think Travis Kelce's going to get right in this game, and I think it's going to be a blowout. He's going to have a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the Chiefs have their issues that are independent of who they play, but yeah, the Chargers aren't going to have, I think, a lot of those guys who are questionable. They're already missing Bosa. They're missing Rashawn Slater. I like the Chiefs' chances, and I like them to cruise on Sunday afternoon. You can hear that game here on 580 WIBW. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to our final word real quick. Spencer Dupuis, you are up first.
Yeah, excited to get out to a NASCAR race tomorrow, Kansas Motor Speedway.
Yeah!
Never been to a NASCAR race. Had an opportunity once, but I had to turn it down. Couldn't go then. Excited to go see what it's all about. It's not the big boys, but it should be a fun race. Also excited to see Washington face Arizona this weekend and see if they can, the Commanders can continue the momentum that they had from Monday night into this week.
Yeah, all of our favorite teams, I'll throw Dan in there as well. My Packers, your Commanders, Dan's Seahawks, all with big, exciting games this week. A little more drama than the Chiefs-Chargers game. No one's really talking about that one, and probably for good reason. Final word for me today. Excited for the Royals to possibly have a chance to clinch a spot in the postseason tonight. I know there's been a lot of consternation about how this team has played, especially offensively lately, and it has been fully deserved. But, guys, the fact that this team is one single good outcome away from making it to the postseason for the first time in 9 years, utterly incredible given where they were to start the year. Hopefully we have plenty of Royals baseball to celebrate coming up on Monday's show. I think they get it done, if not tonight, later this weekend, but I think they'll leave themselves with plenty of cushion. I like the Royals to clinch a spot tonight. That does it for 580 Sports Talk today. We're going to send you to the Royals Radio Network as we get started with Royals baseball tonight. Don't forget, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff for our Lewis Toyota 580 Preps Game of the Week tonight over on Country 106.9. Spencer Dupuis will be there on the sideline. Greg Akagi on color. Dan Lucero on the call of that one. We've got K-State and the Chiefs plus Washburn football all on our airwaves as well this weekend. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the baseball. We'll recap it all with you coming up on Monday's show. For Dan Lucero, for Spencer Dupuis, I'm Brendan Dworzinski. We appreciate you guys as always, and thanks for listening to this week's editions of 580 Sports Talk.